Hi everyone and welcome to another video. As part of my spring cleaning series, I am taking on my oven. I do have a confession. I haven't cleaned this oven since we moved into this house, which was in the summer of 2017. So you are seeing almost 5 years of baked on food explosions and just drippings. It's awesome. I will say it could be a lot worse. We are pretty good about keeping the food covered when we can and making sure everything is on a cookie sheet or a sheet pan. So that is actually a good tip. If you're going to bake something, try and keep it covered as much as possible. And if you have a casserole dish, put it on a baking sheet so that if it boils over, it'll boil over onto that sheet pan and not get the bottom of your oven messy. Regardless, it is in desperate need of a cleaning, so that is what we're going to do today. Before we begin, let's go over what supplies I plan to using in my plan of attack. So these are the supplies, and starting with the left, I will be using 2 old beach towels, and I'm going to use that to cover the floors and just below the oven to protect it from any chemicals. I also have some gloves just to protect my hands, a bowl for warm water, and then I have some old kitchen towels that I will be using as well. Now, my first, we'll say plan A, is this Norwex cleaning paste. First, let me say that I am in no way affiliated with Norwex, nor do I sell it. I bought this at a Norwex party I was invited to, 3 or 4 years ago. So there's that. It's something that I do use in my sink. I have a stainless steel sink and it works really, really well to get everything out, as well as inside of the ring of the garbage disposal. So I heard that you can use this on the oven, and I thought we would give it a try and see if it will really attack the 5 years of yuck. I also have that steel cloth that I got from Norwex to use with it, as well as a scrub daddy. And I bought this little brush from the grocery store. I saw other people use this pumice stone or something similar on any stubborn places in the oven that aren't coming up. They just scrape it with that and it doesn't damage the oven. So I thought we would give that a try. Now that's plan A. If that doesn't work, I'm going to bring out the big guns, which is the Easy Off. I know for a fact that this will work. It's something that I used in previous ovens. I'd rather not deal with the chemical smell, so I'm hoping the Norwex will work, but just in case, I do have the Easy Off. So let's go ahead and get to it. The first thing I'm doing is I'm using those old beach towels and I'm laying one down on the floor, and then I'm taking another one and I have a drawer that has all my sheet pans in that I'm going to tuck part of it into, and then I'm going to tuck the rest of it in this space right underneath the oven to help protect the wood and the floor against any drippings and chemicals that I might use. And then next, I'm just using a paper towel to try and wipe some of any loose dirt and grime. You could also use a little handheld vacuum cleaner that maybe has a battery attached to it to get some of it up. I've seen that done. I didn't want to use that. I just used a paper towel. And then now I'm putting on the Norwex. I just got the little steel cloth a little damp and then smoothed some of that paste onto it. And I started to do half of it, but then I was like, let me just do it all. And I'll be a good judge of if it works or not just by doing all of it. But I'm just wiping down the entire oven with that Norwex cleaning paste.
I'm in love with all your lights and your colors. I'm in love with all your nights. But you've kept me far away from my focus, and to my heart I cannot lie. Stars, made of stars, up above, made to fall. Stars, counting stars, and they guide me through the dark. Lonely days left in despair.
After I spread the cleaning paste all over the oven, I used the Scrub Daddy and Steel Mesh sponge to scrub some of that grime off. I then wiped it clean to see where we were at, and although it did get maybe a couple of layers of that grime off, it didn't work too well. Because my oven is so bad, I really needed something stronger, which I thought was probably going to be the case. I'm not going to knock Norwex because I think that if I was just doing a maintenance cleaning or if I keep my oven clean regularly, this would work fantastically like it does in my sink and garbage disposal. But for 5 years worth of gunk, it just wasn't enough, at least not for my oven. So I ended up using the Easy Off. Before I began, I did open the windows and turned on fans to help bring in some fresh air. I also removed that towel from the bottom of my oven so it wouldn't catch the house on fire. And there are a couple of cleaning methods with Easy Off. And if you look at the directions on the can, I use the warm oven cleaning method. And with this method, I preheated the oven to 200 degrees. Once it reached that temperature, I turned the oven off and saturated the oven as quickly as I could with the spray. I then closed the oven door, and the back of the can says 3 to 5 minutes, but I let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. And if you notice in this footage, I did use a mask while I was cleaning the oven, and I do highly, highly recommend that. The fumes are very strong, and even with the mask, the open windows, and the fans, I still had to step away periodically to catch my breath. But once the 10 minutes were up, as you can see, the gunk was just pouring down the side of the oven. It just got it right off. There were some stubborn areas, such as the little crevices of the oven and especially the oven door. So I had to do several rounds of this, of preheating the oven, letting it reach temperature, turning the oven off, spraying it, let it sit 5 to 10 minutes. I think I did 3 or 4 rounds of this. And after that, my oven was just so clean.
My best to breathe. Dreams of green and filled with bliss. Life is so much more than this. So where do you go when nothing's like home? I'm going for the gold. Turning off the cruise control and take the long way home. Moving on was never harder with knowledge of all the things I leave behind. I got a new friend in my life that is perfect, and you're no longer on my...
As I mentioned, the Easy Off worked fantastically to get everything off. I did have some stubborn areas such as the oven door and some crevices inside of the oven, but after several rounds of the warm cleaning method along with a little bit of elbow grease, it all came right off. I did try to use the pumice stone on some of those areas, but I think that my stone was too soft because anytime I put pressure on it, some of that pumice crumbled. So I ended up using an old razor scraper and the Scrub Daddy and was able to get the rest of the splatters off that way. Now that is all complete, and after 2 hours, the oven looks so fantastic and it is pretty spick and span. You can see your reflection in the oven door, which was not the case before. I highly recommend, if you have a really, really dirty oven like mine, save yourself the time and the trouble and just use the Easy Off, because chances are you're going to end up using it anyway. The inside of the oven looks great. If you look in the back of the oven, there is one spot where there is still some grime, and I think some of it is rust spots. But it was getting too close to the heating element, and I didn't want to touch that area and cause any electrical problems, so I just went around it as much as I could. Outside of that, I'm really pleased with the results, and I'm promising myself that I won't let it get as bad as it did before. I'm going to try and maintain it and help keep it clean. If you're interested in the products I used, I have listed everything in the description box below for you to check out. If you found this video because you were trying to figure out the best way to attack your own oven, I really hope I was able to help. And if I did, please hit the thumbs up button below and hit the subscribe button while you're at it. I do post videos every week, including whole house cleans, spring cleaning videos, grocery hauls, and everything in between. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.